Nature is the best engineer. What does PhD stand for? Wrong answers only. Probably has depression. I said wrong answers. The moon is actually more useful than the sun, since the moon gives us light at night when it's dark. The sun only gives us light in the day when it's already bright. When life gives you lemons, make lemonade. The lemons I get in life? Nobody. Dads? Hey look, a chemistry. Scientists have been communicating with apes via sign language since 1960s. Apes have never answered one question. They don't give a damn. Looks like someone found love while writing a book. Aww, she was Emily Claire, now she's Emily Sadler. Oil and water. Albert Einstein was a genius, but his brother Frank was a monster. When you accidentally drink acid, but immediately also drink alkali to neutralize it. Me, falls asleep on arm. Blood cells, let me in. When you hear someone saying, my weight is 70 kg, instead of, my mass is 70 kg. Technically, the glass is always full, half of air and half of water. The episode, which encouraged children that spiders were safe and couldn't hurt you, was banned in Australia, as many spiders in Australia can actually hurt and kill you. This is what a human hand looks like under the microscope. This is Joe, the albino brown bear. Every time he is seen in the forest, he is rescued and woken up at the North Pole. A biology teacher put this up for his students. You are the result of 3.8 billion years of evolutionary success. Act like it. My wife's calculator wasn't working due to a lack of light, so I told her to use her phone. This was not what I was expecting. These scientists are idiots, I suggest. Prehistoric women were probably better at hunting than men. Scientists suggest. This brown bag is 100% green. Must be colorblind. Humanity, after realizing if they wanted to fill the Grand Canyon with pee, it would take the entire world population 800,000 years to do it. Oh no. Those who know. Physics students. Nothing is faster than light. Chemistry students. Justin, Oxford scientists claim to have achieved teleportation using a quantum supercomputer. Man, I don't know, there's just been a lot happening lately. Screw it, sure, why not add on teleportation? It's a selfie. Is it a bird? Is it a plane? I like them thick. But Sir Newton, we can't write that. Then write this. The greater the mess, the greater the force of attraction. A chemist froze himself to minus 273 degrees, and everyone called him crazy, but personally, I think he was okay. You can put objects anywhere. I made a graph showing my past relationships. It has an x-axis and a y-axis. You must have been plotting this for a while. What kind of fish is made of only 2 sodium atoms? 2 Na. That awkward moment when you actually get these puns and chemistry is not even your field. Me, moving a snail from the road to the grass. The snail. I ordered pizza, but because of poor network, I tried so many times and gave up. 40 minutes later, at my house. Tracking of an eagle over a 20-year period. Women in 1945 making boomers. In 1946, making boomers. Who would win? The most complex organ known to man. The lack of 2 chemi boys. I'm writing my PhD thesis in theoretical physics, and every time I have to decide between using this and this, I think to myself, the crocodile wants to eat the bigger number. That doesn't help me. I just know which one to use. That never helped me. That actually made it worse. Pythagoras invented a practical joke cup that would spill wine all over a person if they filled too much of their cup. Him, with a half-filled cup while others are soaked wet. NASA successfully hurled an object into an asteroid at 14,000 miles per hour to see if it could be knocked off course. The James Webb Telescope took a detailed image of the impact site. If you save $20 every day, it will be apparently 1,500,000 per year. A month doesn't have 30 days. They went wrong somewhere. In 1971, a cement truck crashed near Winganon, Oklahoma. The mixer was too heavy to move, so they left it. The locals have since repainted it to look like a NASA space capsule. Map of the moon, if its seas were really seas. How the dark shapes in the moon connect together. They even have names. A hug without you is just toxic. And then the male liked all the female posts. In this way, he shows his interest in mating. Them. Why is your password 917201999? Me. You wouldn't get it. Nunchucks are illegal in some states, but guns are not. So if you tie 2 guns together and create gunchucks, it's neither legal or illegal. Schrodner's gunchucks. Why does Schrodner have so many things? Schrodner's hoarding problem. I recently, matter of hours, cooked 2 boxes of strawberries into a set of gelatinous cubes and cylinders. The lime juice I added gives them a burning sour aftertaste, and I eat about 4 of them per day. Not everyone should code. Recommended for you. I just won't watch this video. Last month, I did the unthinkable and finally threw out that box of unloved cables that I've dragged with me throughout adulthood. Today, I realized that I needed one of them and have no idea how to find a replacement. Consider this a warning to all of you. ChatGPT to replace developers. Yeah, the way calculators replaced math teachers. You can create the straw equivalent of a bump stock with a 3D printer. Now your entire cup is a straw. Checkmate. Realization. The asteroid that killed the dinosaurs was technically the highest ratio of killing birds to one stone in Earth's history. The 2 birds per stone factoid is actually a statistical error. Asteroid Gorge, who fell from the sky and killed 38 billion birds, is an outlier and should have never been counted. Plants. I'ma wave my genitals in the air. Humans. Fragrant. The data. How scientists see it. How creationists see it. A lava lamp, magma lamp. High school chemistry class be like, okay class, today we're going to boil water. Make sure to wear your safety goggles. I hate viruses so much. Literally getting attacked by a shape, a concept, consumes no energy, responds to no stimuli. Its only existence is to mess with you, like go away. I tried to relax with a nice nature show. Forgot about the emotional landmines. It's confusing when your parents don't visit as frequently as they once did. Go to work naked day is now a mandatory national holiday. Which jobs have the worst outcome from this? Welders. Suddenly, all of humanity loses the ability to lie. What happens? We will certainly talk a lot less. What mouse walks on 2 legs? I have no idea. Mickey Mouse? Wow, very funny. What duck walks on 2 legs? Donald Duck. All ducks, idiot. This is why no one takes computer science seriously. COD's 12 rules, and there are a set of 13 rules. You don't understand scale. Use $50 to buy 10 tomato plants. In 6 months, you have 250 tomatoes. Plant those into 250 plants. In 6 months, you have 6,250 plants. Plant them. 6 months, you have 156,000 tomatoes. Plant them. 6 months, now you have 3.9 million. Sell them for $1 each. This is called farming, and it's way harder than you think. I always laugh when we have to imagine centrifuge bacteria, because imagine you're just chilling in some broth with your buds, and then someone comes along and puts you in a tube and spins you at 14,000 RPM. Today I learned the uncomfortable record for fastest moving man-made object is a manhole cover propelled by a nuclear detonation. A high-speed camera trained on the lid caught only 1 frame of it moving upwards before it vanished, which means it was moving about 125,000 miles per hour. The lead scientist involved theorized that it was going so fast that it would not have burnt up in our atmosphere. It would not have been caught in Earth's orbit, essentially meaning the first man-made object launched into space was a manhole cover that's still traveling the cosmic abyss. I kind of like this exam question. There's something that you spent time studying that wasn't asked on the exam. What is it and how does it work? Explain in detail. Thanks to all of the radio signals and noise that the human race is making, to an outside observer, the Earth is sprinting around the sun, screaming. No wonder aliens don't want to talk to us. Scientists are in labs right now, creating the thinnest and worst material known to mankind so they can make women's clothing. Spaghetti strands that are 200 times thinner than a human hair could be woven into bandages. Technically, they're using it for bandages. For now, it's nanopasta. The resulting nanopasta can be spun into a tiny mat about 2 centimeters across. While it isn't intended as food, Clancy says it should be safe to eat, but is reticent to talk about having tried it. Oh, he's definitely eating it. This blood lamp doesn't look that bloody, but the way you can turn it on can be considered gruesome. It works once, and you need to add a drop of your blood to activate it. The idea is to stop and think about how badly you need the light before you use it. Designer Mike Thompson created the lamp in order to draw attention to how much energy we waste. We could finally power the world. There are 2 kinds of people. Cruise ship passenger says he battled confusion, fatigue, and some sort of creature to survive while stranded in the ocean. Creature? Just when you think it couldn't be worse, you have to battle a creature. Sassy bones. Man finds rare mirror-like scarab beetle while on a stroll. Plants in the wild, taking whatever Mother Nature throws at them and thriving. Houseplants. You watered me on Sunday versus Saturday, so now I must die. The good thing about science is that it's true, whether or not you believe in it. Deserves at least a sarcastic laugh. Damn it. Things nobody said in the 80s. I lost my phone. I went and asked my teacher why she wrote salsa on my paper, and she told me I got a 59 out of 59. She also mentioned maybe I'm not as smart as she thought I was. Physics. The science where you use extremely long and complicated formulas to explain why a ball rolls. When you marry with a mathematics student, moan louder every time the cashier scans one of your items. Please don't do this. Chemistry. Hey man, what's up? Just converting oxygen into carbon dioxide. You know the usual. What the hell, man? School's out. Why are you still doing science? Breathing, Jake. I'm breathing. I poured my root beer into a square cup. Now I just have beer. Don't drink and derive. This is why it's called pizza. Before plus after organic chemistry. My 5-year-old niece saw the blue deer on my shirt and was like, oh, it's a boy deer. I took the opportunity to be like, or it can be a girl deer. Girls like blue too. She stared at me and was like, I said it's a boy because it has antlers. Take my degree away now. No one. Venn diagrams. You versus the guy she told you not to worry about. I hate how the stereotype is that dolphins are good and sharks are evil. When dolphins are so smart that they have the capacity for evil, but sharks are simple fish who can only be true neutral. So even if a minority of dolphins are evil, there are still more evil dolphins than sharks. They need to invent the opposite of a gym. You go there and you just get more frail and sickly. Maybe instead of lifting, you just sit in a cold, dark room and starve. Grad school. Water will not freeze at 27 degrees Fahrenheit. Chemistry says, old bonds break when new ones are formed. Any physics teacher. Air resistance. Kiss, marry, kill. Square antiprism. Great stellated dodecahedron. Sphere. 45 degree in Fahrenheit. In Celsius and in math. Men who refer to themselves as alpha. I'm pi male. I'm just 3.14 times better than any other male. Translation. Irrational. Most often associated with his large circumference. So technically Moses is the first man to download files from the cloud using a tablet. Friend, you can't protect the environment using memes. Me. Mathematicians when they can't get a 100% accurate solution. Cosmologists when their solution is within 5 orders of magnitude of the answer. My physics lecturer recently told me of a class he had attended where the professor had rounded pi to 10 for the sake of ease. Windows troubleshooter source leaked code. You would think that in university, everyone is mature and serious about life until you get a group assignment and you have to beg people in their 20s to type a small coherent paragraph. I can't sleep. What's up? There's just so many important questions going on in my head. Like, is the S or C silent in the word scent? If you drop soap on the floor, is it dirty or is the floor clean? How come our noses run but our feet smell? Why is it called chili if it's hot? Bruh. Electron behaves as a wave. Human being watches closer. Electron. It is a well-known fact that you must spin a USB 3 times before it will fit. From this, we gather that a USB has 3 states. Up position, down position, superposition. This is what Yale Hospital feeds brain cancer patients after brain surgery. I thought it would be better quality than this, but they probably know a lot more than I do. Jan Smit. Paleontologist Jan Smit. Looking at rock. Can you explain to me cell division very fast? Thanks. I can tell. Your dad's been under a lot of pressure lately. I can grow on concrete. Oh no, the pH of the soil is too high. I'm dying. Nail salon's gonna be lit. Google's new earbuds can translate 40 languages instantly in your ear. When an Indian law required bars to be at least 500 meters from certain roads, one bar built a maze in front of its entrance to triple the walking distance from the door to the street. Regulators accepted this solution. God, get in your cell. Me. You can't make me. You don't run this cell. Rips off mask to reveal mitochondria. Actually, I do. What will I ever need to use physics for? A hockey puck. Mass 0.115 kg. Moving at 35 meters a second. Strikes an octopus thrown on the ice by a fan. The octopus has a mass of 0.265 kg. The puck and octopus slide off together. Find the velocity. Why did you bring an octopus to a... What is even going on in this universe? I'm a biologist and I just took this picture. Oh, you're based? Prove it. X mystery, Y mystery, Z mystery. Things I don't understand. Pie charts. This is how I'm pulling up all fool. Gotta keep that thang on me. When people ask you why you make science puns, because screw you, that's why. When you're trying your best but you still dying inside. Types of atoms in the universe. Elements, mental illness. What? Humans, dog and cats, turtles, giraffes. Me, nervously clicking my pen during the test. That one guy in the class who knows Morse code, trying to understand why I want to invade Cuba. My best science fair entry. It's an eclipse, but with Oreos. I have a bunch of brains in jars. Cool, man. My robot misses you. Okay. Fact. If the Earth was 10 feet closer to the sun, we would all burn up, and if it was 10 feet further, we would freeze to death. I saw a post and I don't think this is true. Yeah, but can the science side of Tumblr explain this? Mitochondria. I was arrested the other day for stealing people's electrons. I was heavily charged despite my victim saying it was an overall positive experience. I'm shocked that you have a rather neutral tone regarding your current situation. Stop pitting the sciences against each other. Biology is amazing. Chemistry is enjoyable. Physics... Olivia Rodrigo reveals that a guy wanting to go to space is a red flag for her. I was feeling inspired. Nobody, mathematicians. Ambidextrous sofa, sexy, prime chicken nugget. Which came first, the chicken or the egg? Atoms are binary. They are either intended to be hydrogen or helium. We can't just scrap this worldview just because of a handful exceptions. Heisenberg Heisenberg uncertainty principle. It is impossible to know both the position and velocity of a particle at the same time. Cotton Eye Joe uncertainty principle. It is impossible to know where did he come from and where did he go. If a plant is sad, do other plants photosympathize with it? A chlorophyll, you man. Geology. Name 3 types of rocks. Classic, punk, hand. Oh my, it's like 40 degrees outside. I'm melting. Human surfer versus a sea turtle versus a sea lion. The reason why sharks attack surfers. The sushi-shaped isopod is a crustacean like no other. Give this man a rice to sit on. The element of confusion. Why did bro choose science when he could have been an ace in modeling? Hey, do you like chemistry? Nah, bro. Mutations in science fiction. Mutations in real life. You'd think that atoms bonding with other atoms would mean they're being friendly, but really they just steal each other's electrons. How ironic. Why do guys named Timothy go by Tim when they could go by Moth? Pick a number from 1 to 50. 20. We will not communicate with you and I will not use ChatGPT for 20 days. Can I pick another number? Yes, 50. My friend sent me this from the physics and astronomy floor of his university, laying down at the stars. Do you ever look up and think about how small you really are? Actually, 5 inches is average. Electrons, 3D, 4S. I recreated a 400-year-old alchemy potion for depression, then tried it. Men will literally study Paracelsus, translate 1600s alchemical texts, and distill potions for melancholy, and distill potions for melancholy. What's your best example of correlation not equaling causation? Are you sure? Number of people who drowned by falling into a pool. Films Nicolas Cage appeared in. How do you even find this out? Econ professor. It's just a textbook page. Why are you laughing so hard? You wouldn't get it. I'm sure this will be fine. Toyota is working on hitchless towing, where 2 vehicles are only connected through Wi-Fi. Catch me being a modern-day cyber pirate, screaming up alongside you on the 405 in my Rad Max car, with half a Bitcoin's farm worth of RAM in the backseat as I hack your idiot Toyota device and steal the boat you're towing right off the back bumper of the Tesla your dad bought you. My roommate just told me that the invigilator for his exam shouted, "Hey Siri," mid-exam, and he got like 5 people with phones. My Siri just got pinged. One time in math class, my teacher was really annoyed at us and he was yelling, "Do you even know basic math? Do you know addition? What's 2 plus 2, Corey? What is it?" And poor Corey wasn't paying attention, so I leaned over to him and whispered, "7," and he blurted out, "7," and I've never laughed harder. God created a fart. Then he added a smell to it so the deaf can enjoy them too. The USDA is dropping fish meat coated oral rabies vaccines across the wilderness of eastern US with hopes of lowering disease rates among raccoons, foxes, coyotes, and skunks. Ravioli. Biology, chemistry, and physics are essentially all the same science with different zoom settings. Let's not forget the time Captain Jack Sparrow broke the laws of physics. Vegan scientists mixing 27 carcinogenic chemicals in an attempt to make a soybean taste like a hamburger. When an engineer goes to medical school, liquid exists on Mars, boosting hopes for life out there. Run Mars, run! Save yourself! Humans didn't invent agriculture. Humans were domesticated by wheat. No, this doesn't make any sense. Bacteria in 1928. Oh no way, penicillin! Bacteria now. Is it doxycycline? Pathetic. What people think when they hear antimatter versus what antimatter is actually used for. I turned this in for my environmental science class, and my professor said I have a 4th grader's understanding of the carbon cycle. Eats grass, carbon goes in the atmosphere. Earth pulls me down. I attract Earth. The law of attraction. When the designer understands quantum physics. How I imagined 2025 as a kid. How it turned out. The Earth is round? Sauce. The incredible truth about what we eat. 400 calories of oil, chicken, vegetables, owls, swords, existential horror. The Milky Way with Earth. The Milky Way without Earth. The universe doesn't care. The downgrade is insane. When they finally crack nuclear fusion, how will they convert that energy into electricity? Don't tell me it's just gonna be boiling water again. It's gonna be boiling water again. Physicists build a black hole bomb in the lab. A stamp that makes perfectly drawn benzene rings. Chemistry students. Aquatic organisms when there's a lot of phosphorus and nitrogen in the water. England gave calculus. Germany gave theory of relativity. Croatia gave AC current. What did your country give? A nanobot helping a sperm with motility issues towards an egg. These metal helixes are so small, they can completely wrap around the cocktail of a single sperm and assist it along its journey. Pretty sure the last thing this world needs is people from dumber sperm. Classic Reddit find. Blood acquires its red color from fibrin, hemoglobin. Pretty sure it's communism, yeah. Human nature, summed up in one picture. Do not climb and play on and around the pipe. People are asking why the Titanic didn't implode as it sank. It wasn't so much pressure in the ocean back then. Life was easier. Best answer so far. People share 50 to 60% of the DNA as a banana. That means some of you are 10% more banana than other people. You know who you are. When she knows nothing about physics. It's really self-explanatory. Mitochondria. Definitely chondria. Damn, it's low-key hot on Friday. Man, it ain't that hot. Wear some sun cream. A sword made from the blood of your enemies is technically possible. If you separate the iron out of the blood of 300 adults, you could smelt it down to an iron ingot. This ingot would be enough to create a longsword. So you're telling me I can harvest humans for iron? Let's do a meet and greet, everyone. Do not run with CRISPR-Cas molecular scissors. You might cut your DNA. Physics textbooks. Assume that a penguin is a circular cylinder. Physics students. The fact that there are imaginary numbers in mathematics is proof that humans create their own problems then cry. And then we solve them, creating our own problems and solving them. The last image before the Mars rover went offline. C.zip. When I lower the temperature to absolute zero. Come on, solidify. How they really made the periodic table. The Tetris table. Welcome to organic chemistry, where questions like, where do you keep your chloroform, are no longer suspicious. Sir, not there. Why? Sit here. Oh, okay. Science books. Then you can claim you are Isaac Newton. I knew space was fake. Stuff you know. Stuff you don't know. Stuff you don't know you don't know. Squid evolves ability to squirt ink to avoid being caught. Humans. Catches squid for their ink. Squid. Hi, can I buy you a drink? Sure. She's not interested. The ring she wants. The rings I want. The rings I can afford. Nunchucks are illegal in some states, but guns are not. So, if you tie two guns together and create gunchucks, it's neither legal or illegal. Schrodinger's gunchucks. Why does Schrodinger have so many things? Schrodinger's holding problem. Everyone. Gives trees credit for oxygen. Zooplankton, who generate 70% of all oxygen. A circle. In the Triangle Factory, the entire internet has the weight of several strawberries. How physics was invented. How aerodynamics was invented. If you mess up a social experiment, you can say, failed experiment, and move on. Cannot stress enough that you say this in your head. If we stretched our bodies out as long as our intestines and did the same thing to a horse, which one would be longer? No. Observer. Every other possible quantum state. Observed quantum state. Chemical elements, US states. This information is so satisfying, but what do I do with it? When nature itself gives us such good packaging, then what is the need to wrap it in plastic? Scientist. My discoveries are useless if taken out of context. Media. Scientists claim that discoveries are useless. Could you briefly explain human evolution for me? Wait, who decided that skeletons are scary? Because I reckon I would be absolutely terrified if the nervous system came at me. And the skeleton's right next to the nervous system. E equals mc squared. Energy equals milk times coffee. Calm down, Einstein. Number of Miss Universe titles 1. Earth, 74. Rest of the universe, 0. Expectation of nuclear energy. Now we begin with quantum entanglement in the nanotechnology facility to generate electricity. Reality. Me and bro laughing after accidentally breaking a $500 micro pipette. Laughing? I'd be terrified. I'd be thinking, what the hell do I do now? Oxygen. I help sustain life. Uranium. I help produce clean energy. Copper. I am a very good conductor. Gold. I'm so shiny. Loki getting a tan. Unicorn. Heavy assault unicorn. High-speed submersible unicorn. General chemistry students. The hydrogen atom is simple, isn't it? Physics major. Shout out to the person who thought, how can I illustrate an elderly deer? And came up with this. How chemical reactions occur. Something adds or removes hydrogen. Something transfers electrons. Magic. What do you call an acid with an attitude? Studying physics. Almost done, almost, oh yeah, oh god. Doctors, you could eat that. Don't eat a burger though. If it squirms, it's biology. If it stinks, it's chemistry. If it doesn't work, it's physics. And if you can't understand, it's mathematics. Optimist. Pessimist. Realist. Physicist. Surrealist. Relativist. Utopist. Skepticist, artist. Humpback whale population bounces back from near extinction. From just 450 to over 25,000. I'm filling out a medical form online and I'm curious who's out there speaking Old English. Okay, potassium. Modern physics. Look inside. Over 100 years, physics theories. What idiot called it a randomized clinical trial controlled with placebo, and not trick or treatment, since peanuts are shaped like chromosomes. Here is a mitotic peanut cake. If we wait long enough, there will be 2 cakes. Me takes public transport to reduce my carbon footprint. Taylor Swift. Fold the paper, Bart. Nuclear energy, but really it's just boiling water. Did you know if you touch a uvula, you can taste every food you've eaten for the past 12 hours? No you can't. Looks like versus feels like. Look guys, I invented the concept of zero. Nice, we can calculate the number of girlfriends you have. Nerd. I had an evaluation with my therapist, and this was my diagnosis. Diagnosis, you're on a low income. Ouch. Weather, cloudy with off and on birds. Scientists have been trying to tell us for decades that these things are everywhere, yet I've never seen one with my own 2 eyes. Wake up before it's too late. Chemistry, oh chemistry. Bad life syndrome is a phrase used by physicians in the United Kingdom and the United States for the effect that a variety of poverty or abuse-induced disorders can have on patients. Just finish the gingerbread cookies. Nobody wants to eat them and the kids won't stop screaming. Snowman watching the skies. Biology, the study of animals. Physics, study of laws of the universe. Chemistry, let's just mix a bunch of things together and see what happens. How are we ever going to evolve if you keep pushing us back into the ocean? Betelgeuse exists. Astronomers, let it die. Eggplant made by an artist. Eggplant made by AI. You're so weak. Gravity, nothing can beat me, the weak force. Electromagnetic, the strong force. When the science teacher is talking about the 3 forms of matter and you mention plasma, look what they need to mimic a fraction of our power. At this point, if I get abducted by aliens, it's no longer considered an abduction. It's a rescue mission. This would have done numbers on Facebook, I know it. If you were wondering how far a bag of chips bought in Indiana could be driven up Pikes Peak in Colorado before it pops, the answer is 8 miles past the entrance. Message in a bottle, 21st century version. Professors who have only interacted with other academics for years. What do you mean you don't know multivariable calculus yet? Professors with small kids. Thank you for not putting the lab equipment in your mouths when I turn my back. Making a protracted exit. Human DNA contains all the necessary genes to produce feathers. It's merely a matter of selective activation. To your genes right now. You used to call me on my cell phone. 25 million years ago, land reptiles returned to the sea and they became like this. 50 million years ago, other land animals went, my people need me, back into the sea, and they became like this. Oil, water, black wallet found. You can contact me by solving this equation. Your birthday, my phone number. On Monday, I will deliver it to the police station. When organisms don't like the rules, they protest. Oops, I spilled water all over my homework. I finished my Tesla coil. Cool, but check this out. How did you do that? The world doesn't actually make sense. Science doesn't work. No one told you because you're so cute when you get into something. Still, neat toy. Now you're hovering. I guess you're still not getting this. If these 4 geniuses were in a research group with $1 billion in funding, what kind of stuff would they do? They'd probably become the most powerful men. Why is arm anatomy so hard for you, Jesse? Look at what arms do. Supination, pronation. The whale shark is the biggest fish in the world, I believe, not a shark. It's the largest fish and also the largest shark. Sharks are fish. Sharks are 100% not fish. Sharks are aquatic mammals. Fish lay eggs, shark birth live offspring. Eratosthenes correctly estimates Earth's circumference 2,200 years ago using shadows and sticks. Him, hearing about flat earthers in the 21st century. Many people don't realize just how big a whale can be. Why does the Earth spin? What happens if you throw sand into a jet engine? I am this old. It's now safe to turn off your computer. I am a ton of particles. I'm a wave. I am light. We have to go back in time and destroy AI at its source. A propeller is just a big fan in front of the plane to keep the pilot cool. When it stops, you can actually see the pilot start sweating. World's most accurate pie chart. Pie I have eaten. Pie I have not eaten yet. When your friend is afraid of the dark and is also afraid of radiation. I am sun, the giver of life, source of infinite power. Okay, try this. Viruses versus humanity in space. Things I learned on organic chemistry. Interesting reactions. Nomenclature. I did not learn that. Deadly compounds. How to draw hexagons. The cake versus pie debate has been mathematically settled. Eating too much cake is the sin of gluttony. However, eating too much pie is okay because the sin of pie is always 0. What I see. Outlier. General trend. friend. What science denialists and conspiracy speculationists see. Everything's a conspiracy, everyone's against you. Trust no one. Venus flytraps can live on sunlight and soil nutrients alone, but every morning they wake up and choose violence. The iPhone 17 is out. YouTube is in 2 days. Why do you bark at nothing? My dog? Do I bark at nothing, or is there nothing because I bark? My fossils bring all the boys to the yard and they're like, you still can't join the Geological Society of London. Being dead, being alive. Xmas tree, Ymas tree, Zmas tree. I just learned that if a hermit crab finds a new shell that is too big, it will wait for other hermit crabs who need new shells to gather, and they will organize themselves by size and trade shells. I'm annoyed that the crabs have a better housing market than we do. Element 118 is predicted to be a solid at room temperature, but it's a noble gas. Science, natural philosophy. Why unicorns fart rainbows, a scientific explanation. Prism, optical fiber, rainbow. Meanwhile, in a parallel universe. H2O is water, H2O, yeah, it's water. Newton just created a fourth law. What is it? Put a little hot sauce on that bad boy. Why don't they just fly the plane straight? Calories in one pistachio. 4. Calories burned opening one pistachio. 2,479. It's pretty awful how baseline human activities like singing, dancing, and making art got turned into skills instead of being seen as behaviors. So now it's like, the point of doing them is to get good at them, and not, this is a thing humans do. The way birds sing and bees make hives. You're dumber than me. Duh, obviously. I'm your AI, built to match your level. If you were a genius, I'd be Einstein. But since you're, well, you, here we are. What do you mean you're supposed to be as smart as me? You're supposed to be way smarter. Discovering a new species as a biologist, wildlife photographer, scuba diver, epidemiologist, chef, astronaut, lunar eclipse, solar eclipse, apocalypse. Being a fossil would be so relaxing. I would love to be a preserved corpse for hundreds of millions of years until I am gently unearthed by a bunch of nerds who are so excited to see me and be my friend. This isn't a painting. It is the most detailed image of a human cell to date, obtained by radiography, nuclear magnetic resonance, and cryo-electronic microscopy. As if chemistry wasn't confusing enough, now we've got Poseidon cursing our equations. Math, chemistry, physics, genetics, zoology, literally everything else. Biology, medicine. Mathematicians coming up with imaginary numbers instead of admitting they were wrong. The only realistic problem in my calculus book. Is he going fishing? Last night, I had a dream that there was a storm on my way home, and near my house, the clouds looked like the surface of Jupiter. These are quickly photoshopped images, but they're pretty close to what I remembered. I know this would kill everyone, but can our sky be like this all the time? What does a microscopic cow say? Then the 90-second little pig built a house out of depleted uranium, and the wolf was like, dude. So the wolf pulled out his particle accelerator, turned up the thermal neutron energy, and promptly fissioned the house down. The pig was reduced to his component atoms in a rapidly expanding cloud of ionized plasma. The jug is half full. Empty? Half empty? 60.69% of the jug is filled with water and 39.31% with air. Don't say you love anime if you haven't read the manga. No one. Quantum physicists. Chlorine taking sodium's only valence electron. Me, seeing my physics homework like, what the hell? So when I was getting dressed today, I very quickly put on a lab coat and some ears, not even trying to have something coherent, just wanting to have some kind of costume. Then I used some eyeliner to draw some whiskers on my face. So yeah, that's my costume. Cat in a lab coat. Does it make sense? No, who cares? Still wearing the same skirt and striped knee-high socks from yesterday, but that's just my work clothes. But then when I got to my office in the physics department, one of my colleagues immediately said, "Oh, Schrodner's cat girl. You're Hyoyin Kyoma's apprentice." The town of Viginella, Italy, goes without sunlight for 83 days every year because it sits in the shadow of tall mountains. So they came up with a wild solution. They built a giant computer-controlled mirror to bounce the sun's rays into the town and brighten up winter. Black hole, literally anything. Hawking radiation. I was having trouble deciding whether my sponsor today would be brilliant or audible. So I devised a solution. What I have here is a cat, my cesium from Russia, and a clock to see if the cat is dead or alive in 1 hour. And if dead, audible. And if it's alive, brilliant. I think that's pretty cool. If you identify a UFO as a UFO, then it becomes an FO. Unless it has landed, then it is simply an O. One time I took a physics exam, and on every problem, I had some epiphany with a satisfying payoff. So at the end of the exam, I wrote, "Great exam, huge everyone." And it turned out that I got every problem so horribly wrong that they couldn't even give me any partial credit. A category 6 would be a tornado. Nope, those are different storms with different processes. Though hurricanes can produce tornadoes, it doesn't affect the overall categorical rating. Yes, it would be a tornado. Anything above category 5 would be a tornado. I want to see a tornado in person. God damn. When you're a marine biologist, biologist celebrating Halloween. The Windows 10 desktop background was actually a real photograph, not a computer-generated image. Ancient mathematicians, Renaissance mathematicians, 19th century mathematicians, modern mathematicians. What type of mathematician? I'm no mathematician. I hated maths. Hello, my name is Jobby. Do you guys know what a jobby means in Scotland? You don't want to know, guys. It means a poop. I have a PhD in physics, and I work for NASA, and I just had to look up the equation for the volume of a sphere. What if oxygen is poisonous, and it just takes 75 to 100 years to kill us? We're all just so rusty. Science boys. New study found that cats like to eat noses. Me and the boys. There is a new study that says when a woman sits on a guy's hip when he is doing a chest press, his testosterone rises up about 97%, which promotes strength and muscle growth. Yeah, science! Hey Tumblr witches, can one of you teach me to cast fireball so I can end my boss? Dissolve some styrofoam in gasoline. It makes napalm. Now hold on, isn't that more science than magic? Or is there a lesson you're trying to teach here about the two? Potion of explode your boss. Crow shares intelligence about enemies. That's him, my science teacher, escaping from the science lab after someone mixed water and salt without putting their safety goggles on. Biologist here, why are plants green? Well, they suck up air from the sky, blue, and mix it with the sunlight, yellow. I love science. Every time I see this post, I fly into an incandescent rage because it's very almost true, and it shouldn't be, and I hate the way OP explains it. What people remember from Bill Nye the Science Guy, what he taught, the theme song. Why is that ship named 3.14? It's because it's full of pirates. If neurons wore pants, would they wear them like this or like this? Top. Medieval woman finds a cure for cancer using science. Witch hunters nearby. Whales are pretty big. Source? Blue whale. Total length? Pretty big. Today I learned that a chimpanzee became the 22nd most successful money manager on Wall Street after choosing stocks by throwing darts at a board of 133 tech companies. Economics are a science. Economics is just astrology for men. Today my chemistry teacher burned $1 in front of us, but he forgot to tell us that the dollar wouldn't burn, only the alcohol would. So he took out a $100 bill and soaked it in alcohol, and we were like, "What are you doing?" And he caught it on fire, and we all yelled at him, but then it went out, and then the bill was fine, and then we were silent for 20 minutes. How to get your class to shut up for the entire period? Science teacher edition. Your IQ is 64. Is there anything in science I can do with an IQ of 64? It is my favorite subject. Could be the test subject. Science versus engineering. That's one small step for a man, one giant leap for humanity. Yo, what up, Earthlings? I'm on Mars, let's go. Forbidden swimming pool. It's actually pretty safe to swim in the pools as long as you don't dive too deep. I got this picture from What If books, where the author answers a ton of really absurd and funny questions using the science as we currently understand it. But just to be sure, I get in touch with a friend of mine who works at a research reactor and asked him what he thought would happen to you if you tried to swim in their radiation containment pool. In our reactor? He thought about it for a moment. You'd die pretty quickly before reaching the water from gunshot wounds. Why is it a bad idea to major in physics? The math is hard. You'll never enjoy action movies again, as you'll always notice the wrong physics. The science teacher who is going to teach the class about cells. The kid that knows everything about cells because his dad is living in one. Who would win? A powerful nucleus in the brain that regulates circadian rhythms. One glowy boy. Did you know type O blood was actually meant to be type 0 blood? Due to the lack of glycoproteins in the red blood cells, it was misread and is now called type O blood. I guess you could call it a typo. I showed this to my biology professor and she cried. Being really into history is cooler than being into math or science. Someone who likes math and science is called a math nerd or a science geek, but someone who likes history is called a history buff because of their strong, sensual arms. We have to be buff to carry the weight of history's sins all the time. Science sins are pretty bad too. When you choose an academically challenging degree and get academically challenged, periodic table with real elements in it. I hate science, but I want it. Why do you hate science? I kind of like this exam question. There's something that you spent time studying that wasn't asked on the exam. What is it and how does it work? Explain in detail. Take this proton. I'm not asking. Please, somebody take this proton off me. How to stop deer from colliding with cars. Bring in wolves. And science is one cold-hearted witch with a 14-inch whoa. After being married for 7 years, a Brazilian couple and her husband found out they were actually brothers and sisters whose mothers left them in their infancy. And that, kids, is How I Met Your Mother/Aunt. According to science, Robert Pattinson is the most attractive man in the world. He's not ugly, but the most attractive? A historical retrospective on the phrase, trust the science. They promoted smoking cigarettes, DDT, I don't know what that is, heroin, asbestos. I bring a sort of eating 40 million krill vibe to dinner that 40 million krill don't really like. Yeah, science. Cork, vegetable oil, ice cube, grape, water. Corn syrup, small rock. Atheists, when they see a praying mantis instead of a science and hypothesis mantis. Parents starving her 10-year-old, giving her diet food. This is diet culture. Someone called child services on her.
Science doesn't matter.
Can you name this fruit? Yes, and I'm grateful for the opportunity. How about Danny? Atheists, when they accidentally say holy frick instead of science frick. Egypt, 3000 BCE. Hey, if you let electric eels shock you, it helps with pain. 5000 years later. Hey, wait, we can use electricity to interrupt nerve signals and relieve pain. The ghost of two ancient Egyptian doctors giving them each other a high five of vindication. Took them long enough. Also the modern era. We don't need science to ease pain. I got homeopathy and essential oils. The ghost of two ancient Egyptian doctors. Oh my god, Karen, do some research. Come on guys, it's not rocket science. Come on guys, it's not music theory. When you're watching a science fiction movie and suddenly an alien kills a dog, the more biotech science you know, the less you fear GMO crops. Study Finds Genetic Literacy Project. The more you understand science, the less you're afraid of the products of science. Who knew? With computer software, it's the other way around. It has taken medical science 200 years to advance humans to a point where they are so healthy and living so long that they deny science and the medicine what got us here. If cats always land on their feet and toast always lands butter side down, what happens if you strap buttered toast to a cat's back and drop it? DNA, this, and then this. I believe in science. I also believe 55 degrees in October is colder than 55 degrees in April. Gay as hell to be a mad scientist. What are you mad about? Men? You're just crazy about men. I hear science is a man-dominated field. Is that what you want? To be dominated by other men? Thinking about moving into that chloroplast apartment complex. Rent's high there. You versus the guy she told you not to worry about. Space and matter is made of energies and vibrations. No, stop believing in this astrology crap. Space and matter is made of energies and vibrations. Doctors in medical field. Doctors of computer science. Googling things they don't remember about their field. Science failed to explain this. And you failed to explain it too. The science teacher saying that the three states of matter are solid, gas, and liquid. The smart kid saying that plasma is also a state of matter. Me who knows that there are other states like New York, Washington, Alabama, Florida. Electricity is invented. People. So how will you measure it? Science? The what? Science fact. It's impossible for a man to strap down any kind of load in a trailer without saying, that's not going anywhere, as he tightens the rope. Dogs are now petting other dogs. Humans rendered useless. Has science gone too far? Pig brains partially revived hours after death. What it means for people. Ah, sweet. Man-made horrors beyond my comprehension. The pure element sodium is a bright silvery metal that explodes on contact water. This sodium has been made into the shape of a duck for absolutely no good reason. Show us the duck. The moon has no light of its own. It reflects the sunlight. Science saves lives. This wandering meatloaf creature has a rare mineral in its teeth. Wandering meatloaf creature has teeth of iron. He was just a scientist doing science things. Who cares if he melted a few dozen kids? It was for science. Dr. Louis Sayre, treating scoliosis, checking the curvature of the spine, 1870s. You sure he's looking at the spine? Looks like he's, not looking at a spine. Science class, when I mix salt and water without my safety goggles. Okay, I'm gonna get this engineering degree. Damn, engineering got hands. Who radicalized you when they said to trust the science and then asked for the science to be kept secret for 75 years? Sci-fi writers. Acids, bases. Virus enters the body. The immune system. Either the virus goes or everyone goes. Regular teacher, school librarian. History teacher, science teacher. Knock knock. Who's there? Do ya? Do you who? Do you want to be my girlfriend? Yeah, I think I might. Killer whales are not our friends. By Jacob Stone. Okay. In 1997, 14-year-old Nathan Zoner got 43 out of 50 ninth graders to vote in favor of banning dihydrogen monoxide, also known as water. The hoax was a science fair project, which he titled, How Gullible Are We? He not only won the science fair, but also inspired the term zonerism, defined as the use of a fact to lead a scientifically ignorant public to a false conclusion. I love science, is handed peer-reviewed journal. No, I meant CGI pictures of space with misattributed quotes as captions. The earth is flat. You have enough rocks, but I don't have these rocks. Sexually frustrated sea snakes mistake scuba divers for potential mates. Alien hammerhead flatworm named after pandemic. Remember when you thought university would be easier than school because you're just doing one subject you enjoy? Figure 1. Overused animal cliches. Happy as a clam, free as a bird. Sad as a sea cucumber that has expelled its internal organs as a defense mechanism, only to find out it was a false false alarm. Cations are positive. Protons have mass. I didn't even know they were Catholic. Obsessed with this stupid shirt I found at Goodwill the other day. Talking to my ex. Hi, what's up? Talking to my Y. Hi, what's up? Talking to my cousin. What? Oh. Be a scientist in 1847. Create the chocolate bar. Want to test if humans and animals can eat it. Try it, not dead. Feed it to science doggo. Guys, I've made a groundbreaking discovery. A mother duck and her family on a walk in Paris. A woman keeps them safe and guides them to water. I love the synchronized French dudes pointing her to the nearest water. Two of these people are actual scientists. One of them just plays on TV. I mean, Bill Nye never really claimed to be like that, you know? He's a very good teacher though for children. I like him. Stop the Bill Nye hate. My science teacher just asked, what's the opposite of based? And I answered, cringe. The answer was acidic. I'm going to hurt myself. Engineer. Engifar. Post your favorite in green. Stokes theorem. My fave. The day mitochondria went from being powerhouse of the cell to the ATP synthesis by oxidative phosphorylation was the horrible day that brought me trust issues. You versus the guy she tells you not to worry about. Wait, so you think stars can predict your future? Well, yes. Me, science. I think astrology does have some truth to it, but obviously not about everything. Declaration of Independence flagged as hate speech by Facebook. Benjamin, get the musket. I love science. Natural selection. This is unfair. The 17-year-old Boy Scout built a nuclear reactor in his mum's backyard 20 years ago that made the neighborhood radioactive. AI is totally safe and development should continue rapidly. Says genuine 100% human scientist. You're always there for me, babe. You're my rock. Science says I shouldn't be alive. This is what pure elemental sodium looks like. One time in school, my science teacher jokingly called me a bad boy. And I got in the mood and she saw, and then she told me to control myself. And I got even more in the mood, I had to switch classes. Control, man. After space station, China now has plans for a kilometer-long mega spaceship. Is this cosplay? Who are you? Who are you so wise in the ways of science? Just found out about Rick and Morty. This hits home. What people call love is just a chemical romance that compels animals to breed. It hits hard, then it slowly fades, leaving you stranded in a failing marriage. I did it. Your parents are gonna do it. Break the cycle. Rise above. Focus on the science. German doctors are attempting to reverse death and resurrect humans. German hacker turns 10 sausages into a working piano. Chemistry teacher. Did you know that protons have mass? I didn't even know they were Catholic. Chemistry teacher. Relative dating is the science of determining the relative order of past events. German cafe gives customers at pool noodle. Has to ensure social distancing after reopening. Science. First step, mess around. Second step, find out. This guy in my political science class was watching Bob Ross's video and was following along in MS Paint. If you recognize them, science and history in elementary school was fun for you. I trust the science. The science says being fat is unhealthy. I don't think anyone disagrees with being overweight and means you're unhealthy. 6th grader swears his science homework was blown up by a Sidewinder missile. I think people should stop questioning the science. Questioning science is how you do science. My science teacher realized that they had nothing planned for the end of class, so they started fighting sans. Say goodbye to that waffle and spaghetti. Men commit over 85% of all homicides. Why? Nobody likes scientists. They like what science gives them, but not the questions. No, not the question that science asks. Actually, I have a question. That's why you're a scientist. 10-year-old me, preparing to tell my mum at 9 p.m. I need glue and construction paper for my project due tomorrow. In 6th grade, I forgot the science fair was the next day. 10 p.m. in panic, I find a loaf of molded bread my pops forgot to throw out. Made a study on mold, moisture, and air. Got 2nd place in the school, 5th in the city. Bread so moldy I was praised for conducting weeks of research. I'm finally graduating with my political science degree. I can't wait to be a server or barista. Teacher piss jugs. Safety concern? We have a science teacher pissing in jugs because he says he can't make it to the bathroom. He goes in the lab closet to do it, so it's not in front of the students, but I guess the kids have commented they can hear him pissing. He said there is nothing weird about pissing, but damn, even the janitor complained when she had to throw away over a dozen milk jugs of piss. Is this a safety issue? I want it to stop. Yeah, it is. I'm glad that bee hummingbirds hatch nests of eggs smaller than a pea. I'm glad that there are oceans 2 miles deep where fishes unknown to science glow like fireflies. I'm glad that the crumbs taken from my bedroom are returned to tiny cities built by ants, and that the thunder of the storms rolling in from the north trembles in my chest when it is still a ways off. Hello, says the world, you are so little. Hello, says the world, you are so big.